Okay, let's look at how to find the surface area of a prism. Now, the surface area of a prism formula is the following. Surface area equals P times H plus 2 times B. Now, these are both lowercase, little p, little h, plus 2 times big B, uppercase B, right? So, here's what each of these stand for. P is the perimeter of the base of the figure. H is the height of the figure, or the solid. And then 2 times this large, or uppercase B, is the area of the base. So there's your general formula. Now, for the most part, it'll stay the same. Notice I have 3 examples down here. So you're going to find the perimeter of the base. So you're going to add up the sides of the base. Actually, this is missing something. I'll put that there. Perimeter of the base times the height of the figure, and then the area of the base. And notice this is a triangle, this is a rectangle, and the base of this is a square. So this part here is actually going to change depending on what your problem is. So let's start looking at this. So if the surface area is this formula here, the perimeter of the base, so the base is the triangle. So notice the triangle is made up of this side here, which is 3, this side, which is 4, and then this other side, it's assumed that it is also 4. So we could even write that in. So perimeter means add up the sides of the figure. So 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 3 is 11. So the perimeter is 11 times the height of the figure. Now, this can be confusing. Height of the figure means not the height of the base, but the idea is take this solid, this whole figure in your head, and pretend that you sit it up on its triangular base. So ultimately what it's going to end up looking like when you do that is something like this. Okay? So pretend that the base is on the bottom. What's the height now? Well, in that case, the height is 16. So the height is 16 plus 2 times the area of the base. Now the base is a triangle, and the area formula for a triangle is 1/2 times base times height. So 1/2 times the base of the triangle, if we kind of pull it away and look at it separately, 3 is here, and the height, it says on this other end, is 5. So the height is 5. So the base would be 3 times the height would be 5. So here's your whole formula all laid out. So now you can just start going to work with your calculations. So 11 times 16, you will be allowed to use a calculator. So 11 times 16 is 176 plus, now over here, 3 times 5 is 15 times 1/2, so cut that in half, 7.5 times 2 equals 15. Now, all you have to do now is add this up. So 176 plus 15 comes out to 191, and it's meters, but notice we're dealing with 2 dimensions for area, length and width, so it's going to be squared. So there is your answer for that triangular prism surface area. Next, we have a rectangular prism. So surface area, and this is a little bit simpler. Surface area, the perimeter of the base, so here and here. Notice this side is 2, so this is 2, this is 2, this is 4, this is 4. So when you add that up, 4 plus 4 is 8, plus these 2's, which make 4. So 8 plus 4 makes 12. So the perimeter is 12, times the height of the figure. Again, sit it up on the rectangular base, the height's actually 5, plus 2 times, now the area of the base this time, the base is a parallelogram, a rectangle, so it's just length times width, or base times height. So the base of this, the area of the base, is going to be 4 times 2. So go to work. 12 times 5 is 60, plus 4 times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. Add that up, and you get 76. This time it's square centimeters. Over here, we have a cube. So it's going to be very similar to that last one. We're going to do the perimeter, so 5, 5, 5, and 5. So 5 times 4 is 20. The perimeter of the base is 20. The height of the figure this time is 5, plus 2 times the area of the base would be the 5 times 5. So 20 times 5 is 100, plus 5 times 5 right here is 25, times 2 is 50. And 100 plus 50 comes out to 150 square inches. Okay, and the last thing actually I forgot to draw, which I'll go ahead and do on this other page, is a trapezoidal prism. We'll see how that works here real quick before we finish. So, if I have a trapezoid, okay, so if I have a trapezoidal prism, the surface area formula is still the same. So let me fill in some numbers real quick so we have them. Let's say that this guy here is 4, 6, 10, 17. So surface area, again, is the perimeter of the base times the height plus 2 times the area of the base. So the perimeter of the base, this time at the trapezoid, so actually I need numbers here and here as well. So the perimeter of the base, right, the base is this trapezoid. So if I just draw it out here for a second, just so we can see it, the height we found is 4. Let's make this inches. The top is 6 inches, the bottom is 10 inches, and then each of these sides is each 3 inches. So the perimeter would be 6 plus 10, which is 16, plus another 6 for the two ends. So that would come out to 22. So the perimeter is 22 times the height of the trapezoid is actually 4. And the way you know that that's the height is here's base 1 and here's base 2. So we're going to say the height is the distance between them. So that would be 4 inches. Plus 2 times, remember the area formula for a trapezoid. 1/2 times the height times the sum of base 1 plus base 2. So what we're doing here is we're going to say 2 times area of the base. So we have 1/2 times the height, which is 4, times base 1 is 6, plus base 2 is 10. So a lot of stuff going on here, but as long as you keep track of your formula and where all your pieces are, you should be good to go. So let's calculate this real quick. 22 times 4 makes 88. Plus, over here, 6 plus 10 is 16. Times 4 is 64. Now, times 1/2. So half of 64 is 32. But then times 2 brings it back to 64. And now you have 88 plus 64 comes out to a total of, surface area is 152, I said inches, so square inches. So those are the various types of prisms you'll have to deal with. And again, here's your formula. Make sure that you know it. Last thing I meant to mention is this. P times H creates what's called lateral area. So lateral area lateral area is a term for the area of all of the faces except for the base. So if we're looking at this guy, it's going to be this top side, this side here, this back side over here, and then the underneath side altogether. So P times H finds the lateral area, plus this finds the area of the bases. So this here is exactly what I expect you to know and memorize to to write out on the test, and then you'll use that to do your problem.